It was the only air force that fought from the first day of the war to the last. While France fell and America slept, the Royal Air Force stood alone against the might of the Luftwaffe. From the desperate dogfights of 1940 to the firestorms of Dresden in 1945, British aviation was a study in desperation and innovation. We are looking at an arsenal that began with canvas biplanes and ended with the world's first operational jet fighters. This list covers the heroes of the Battle of Britain, the terrors of the night bombing campaign, the unsung naval biplanes, and the wooden wonders that defied logic. This is the complete catalog of every British aircraft used in World War II. Let's begin. Fighters. The Defenders. The Gloucester Gladiator. The Last Gladiator. The RAF's last biplane fighter. Entering the war as an antique, it fought with incredible bravery in Norway and the Mediterranean. Armed with 4.303 machine guns and a radial engine, it was hopelessly outclassed by the Bf 109, yet three of them, named Faith, Hope, and Charity, legendarily defended Malta against the Italian Air Force, a relic that refused to die. The Hawker Hurricane Mki, the workhorse, often overshadowed, but never outperformed in utility. While the Spitfire took the glory, the Hurricane took the kills during the Battle of Britain, accounting for 60% of Luftwaffe losses. Rugged, stable, and easy to repair, its linen-covered fuselage could take punishment that would disintegrate a modern fighter. It was the shield of the kingdom. The Supermarine Spitfire Mk1 and 2, the savior, the most beautiful silhouette in aviation history. With its elliptical wings and Rolls-Royce Merlin engine, it possessed a turning radius that terrified German pilots. It was faster than the Hurricane and tasked with engaging enemy fighters while its stablemate hunted bombers. It wasn't just a plane. It was the physical embodiment of British resistance. The Bolton-Paul Defiant, the turreted trap, a concept that failed in practice. It had no forward-firing guns, relying entirely on a power-operated dorsal turret behind the pilot. Initially, it surprised German pilots attacking from the rear, but once the Luftwaffe figured out its blind spot, the Defiant was slaughtered. It found a second life as a night fighter, where its turret could fire upwards at passing bombers. The Hawker Typhoon, the tank buster, originally designed to replace the Hurricane, it was a structural nightmare with a tail that liked to fall off. But at low altitudes, it was a monster. Armed with 420mm cannons and RP-3 rockets, it became the terror of the Wehrmacht in Normandy, cracking panzer armor like tin cans. It was brute force personified. The Supermarine Spitfire Mkv, the stopgap. When the Focke-Wulf 190 appeared, the RAF was outmatched. The Mkv was the rushed answer. It featured a clipped wing for better roll rates and a more powerful Merlin engine. It held the line over the Channel during the RAF's most difficult years, serving in every theater from the deserts of North Africa to the frozen Russian front. The Supermarine Spitfire Mk9, the equalizer, the definitive Merlin engine Spitfire. Built solely to counter the Focke-Wulf 190, it matched the German bird in speed and climbed like a rocket. Kept the Spitfire relevant well into 1944. If you picture a Spitfire, you are likely picturing the Mk9, the Hawker Tempest, the V-1 Hunter, the Typhoon's sophisticated brother. It fixed the tail issues and utilized a thin laminar flow wing for immense speed. It was one of the few piston-engine fighters capable of chasing down German V-1 flying bombs and shooting down the Me-262 jet fighter. Fast, heavily armed, and utterly dominant at low levels. The Gloucester Meteor, the dawn of the jet age, Britain's first operational jet fighter. Entering service in July 1944, it was strictly used for home defense to prevent the technology from falling into enemy hands. With two Derwent turbojets, it didn't dogfight. It zoomed. It proved that the propeller's days were numbered. While the fighters grappled for air superiority, a different breed of aircraft was needed to take the war to the enemy's industrial heartland. Bombers, the Night Raiders, the Ferry Battle, the Sacrificial Lamb, a light bomber that was obsolete the moment the war started. Slow, poorly armored, and lacking defensive fire, they were massacred during the Battle of France. In some raids, 100% of the aircraft sent out failed to return. It stands as a tragic reminder of pre-war complacency. The Bristol Blenheim, the jack of all trades, started as a fast civilian transport, ended up as a light bomber, night fighter, and reconnaissance platform. It was faster than most biplanes, but slower than the monoplanes hunting it. It bore the brunt of early RAF bombing raids, suffering heavy losses, yet served in every theater of the war. The Vickers Wellington, the Wimpy, famous for its geodetic airframe, a basket-weave metal structure that was incredibly strong. Wellingtons often returned home with massive holes burned through their fabric skin, the frame still holding together. It was the backbone of bomber command until the heavies arrived. The short Sterling, the stunted Giant, the RAF's first four-engine heavy bomber. It had a massive payload but was handicapped by a design requirement to fit into standard hangars, limiting its wingspan and service ceiling. It couldn't climb above the flak and suffered accordingly, eventually being relegated to glider towing. The Hanley Page Halifax, the unsung heavy. If the Lancaster was the star, the Halifax was the co-star that did the heavy lifting. It was versatile, surviving more punishment than the Lancaster and better suited for towing gliders or dropping paratroopers. Over 6,000 were built, raining fire on the Ruhr Valley night after night. The Avro Lancaster, the Dam Buster, the icon of the strategic bombing campaign. It possessed a massive, unobstructed bomb bay capable of carrying the 22,000-pound Grand Slam earthquake bomb. It delivered the majority of the tonnage dropped on Germany. It was a machine of terrible efficiency, synonymous with the destruction of Dresden and the breaching of the Ruhr dams. The de Havilland Mosquito, the wooden wonder, built almost entirely of plywood and balsa to save strategic metals. Experts laughed at it until they saw it fly. It was so fast it didn't need defensive guns. It simply outran everything. Whether as a Pathfinder, a night fighter, or a pinpoint bomber, the Mosquito was arguably the most versatile aircraft of the entire war. The RAF ruled the skies over Europe, but Britain is an island nation. Survival depended on the Royal Navy, and the Fleet Air Arm had its own unique collection of machines. Fleet Air Arm, the Naval Wing, the Blackburn Skua, the dive bomber, the Royal Navy's first monoplane, doubling as a fighter and a dive bomber. It scored the first confirmed British aerial kill of the war. However, it was heavy, sluggish, and hopelessly outmatched by land-based fighters. A transitional design that was quickly left behind. The ferry Swordfish, the string bag, an ancient biplane that looked like a joke but fought like a titan. It had a top speed lower than the stall speed of some modern aircraft. Yet, this canvas relic crippled the Italian fleet at Taranto and jammed the rudder of the mighty Bismarck. Proved that technology is nothing without courage. The ferry Fulmer, the fleet defender, designed for endurance and heavy armament, carrying twice the ammunition of a Spitfire. It lacked speed but made up for it with range and reliability. It held the line in the Mediterranean, protecting convoys to Malta when no other fighter could stay in the air long enough. The ferry Barracuda, the ugly duckling, a high-wing monoplane torpedo bomber that looked like it was assembled from spare parts. Despite its ungainly appearance and tricky handling, it executed the daring raids against the German battleship Tirpitz hiding in Norwegian fjords. The ferry Firefly, the powerhouse, the successor to the Fulmer. Powered by the massive Griffin engine, it was a heavy two-seat fighter bomber capable of taking punishment and dishing it out. It arrived late in the war but proved vital in the Pacific theater, hammering Japanese oil refineries and airfields. The Supermarine Seafire, the seagoing Spit, a Spitfire with a tailhook. It was never meant to land on carriers. Its landing gear was too narrow and fragile, leading to high accident rates. However, once in the air, it was the only naval fighter capable of intercepting high-speed Axis attackers. A compromised genius. From the carrier decks to the icy waters of the North Atlantic, the war against the U-boat required endurance above all else. Coastal and reconnaissance. The short Sunderland, the flying Porcupine, a massive flying boat bristling with machine guns. It had a range of nearly 3,000 miles and could remain airborne for 13 hours. It was a U-boat's worst nightmare. On one occasion, a single Sunderland fought off 8 Ju-88 fighters, shooting down 3 and limping home. The Bristol Beaufighter, Whispering Death, derived from the Beaufort torpedo bomber, fitted with powerful Hercules engines and 4 nose-mounted 20mm cannons. In the Pacific, the Japanese called it Whispering Death because its sleeve valve engines were quieter than average, allowing it to strike before it was heard. It was a rugged, brutal strike fighter. The Westland Lysander, the spy taxi, designed for Army cooperation, it found its fame with the Special Operations Executive. Its incredible short takeoff and landing, STOL, capabilities allowed it to drop spies into French fields by moonlight and extract them before the Gestapo arrived. But an air force isn't just about guns and bombs. It's about logistics, training, and moving armies. Transporters, trainers, and gliders. The de Havilland Tiger Moth, the Cradle, the plane that taught the Empire to fly. Almost every pilot who flew a Spitfire or Lancaster started in the open cockpit of this biplane. Forgiving, simple, and ubiquitous, it was the foundation of the RAF's pilot training program. The Airspeed Oxford, the classroom, a twin-engine trainer used to instruct bomber crews in navigation, radio operation, and gunnery. It was the unsung hero that ensured crews could actually find Berlin in the dark. The Airspeed Horsa, the wooden horse, a troop-carrying glider made of wood. It carried the airbornes into Sicily, Normandy, and Arnhem. Silent and expendable, these were one-way tickets to the battlefield, often crashing into hedgerows to deliver their human cargo. The General Aircraft Hamilcar, the heavy hauler, the largest Allied glider of the war. It was designed for one specific purpose: to carry a Tetrarch light tank or a Bren gun carrier directly into combat. It required the most powerful bombers, like the Halifax, just to get it off the ground. Prototypes, the what-ifs. The Miles M.20, the emergency fighter, designed in 9 weeks during the height of the Battle of Britain. It was built of wood, had fixed landing gear, and used standard Hurricane parts. It was faster than a Hurricane and had greater range, but with the Spitfire production stabilizing, this disposable fighter was never needed. The Martin Baker MB-5, the piston pinnacle, arguably the best piston engine fighter ever built by Britain. It had a contra-rotating propeller and fantastic performance, but it arrived just as the jet age was dawning. It remains a tantalizing glimpse of what could have been if the war had dragged on without jets. From the string and canvas biplanes that crippled the Italian fleet to the polished aluminum jets that chased V-1s, the British aviation industry achieved the impossible. It survived the Blitz, outproduced the German war machine, and pioneered technologies that shape aviation to this day. But the cost was staggering. Bomber Command alone lost over 55,000 airmen, a casualty rate unmatched by any other British service. Which of these British legends is your favorite? Do you prefer the elegance of the Spitfire or the raw utility of the Mosquito? Let me know in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe to Military Blueprint for the next complete catalog.